On the next Bering Sea Gold on Discovery, a tense moment goes down for Emily Riedel when her papa rolls up and has a request. Imagine you have to ask your kid for a job. Steve Riedel finds himself in this tight spot as his daughter Emily Riedel is gearing up for a new season on the Eroka, but he needs work for money and comes calling on TV shows as exclusive clip. Last year, Papa Steve had a rough go of it. Will his brash style and in-your-face work ethos get to Em, as he calls her? We will have to see how this family affair plays out. Our clip opens with Steve rehashing the drama from last year and explaining he needs work. After striking out with Vernon earlier, Steve Riedel has his sights set on another potential employer, his own daughter. Steve says, "Oh hey, there's Emmy." Mind you, his daughter Emily has just wrapped up a successful day fitting the gold out in her claim. The two hug, and it's friendly. Emily admires Steve's offbeat rig, and he tells her it's his rhino. Then, Steve makes the request. In a separate interview, he explains the situation. He says, "I didn't tell Emily I was coming up here, so it's gonna be a bit of a surprise. Last summer sort of didn't end well for us, as the footage shows how he was geeked up in a boat as he turned the temperature down on a diver, saying, 'Take that cold and turn it into gold production.' Well, the diver likely had something to say about that move." However, Steve is optimistic Emily will bite. He notes that ageism may be a factor. He says, "Kids never trust their dad. It's built-in ageism." Noting that it's not a slang dunk, he adds, "Emily taking me on might be a bit of a hard sell, but hey, we're family." Emily looks up and asks Steve, "So, what brings you back to Nome? What are you up to?" Steve goes all in. He says, "Well, just like you, Emmy, I'm coming up here for the gold. The second gold rush of the decade." Emily asks Steve if he is prospecting, and he tells her point blank he is looking for work. He says, "Well, yeah, but there's, I've got some money issues and I'm looking for work. So how about a job and me on your boat?" Emily is surprised and says, "On my boat? On the Eroka?" When we asked Emily about having her dad around, she gave us her take. "Well, my dad is always a delight to have around, and he is a really interesting character. He's not like going to purchase his own dredge, or maybe he will. I don't know. Maybe he'll surprise us, but he's just bopping around and looking for the right place for him and the mining world and coming back to Nome and helping out where he can." Bering Sea Gold airs on Friday at 9 p.m. ET/PT on Discovery and streaming on Discovery, Bering Sea Gold exclusive. Hat in hand, Steve Riedel asks Emily for a job. The cold, unforgiving waters of the Bering Sea have seen their fair share of high-stakes drama over the years. From icy seas to intense rivalries, the quest for gold on Bering Sea Gold has become a symbol of grit, resilience, and the ceaseless pursuit of treasure beneath the waves. But the heart of the show is not just about gold. It's about the people, their stories, and the moments of vulnerability that make it more than just an adventure. And this season, we're about to witness one of those raw, unforgettable moments. Steve Riedel, one of the most seasoned and often controversial divers in the series, swallowing his pride and asking for a job from Emily Riedel, his former ally. It's a moment no one saw coming. Steve Riedel, a man who has prided himself on being a lone wolf, reaching out for help in a way that signals more than just a personal low. It's a pivotal point in his journey on the show and perhaps a reflection of the changes that are taking place not only on the show, but within the heart of the gold rush itself. A history of independence. Steve Riedel has never been one to ask for help. For years, he's operated solo in the harsh waters of the Bering Sea, preferring the freedom that comes with doing things his way. His boat, the Reaper, was a symbol of this independence, a vessel he poured his heart and soul into, believing that it would bring him untold riches. But the Bering Sea is unforgiving, and no one can outrun the tides forever. Over the course of the show's many seasons, viewers have seen Steve grapple with the highs and lows of life as a gold miner. While his persistence has earned him respect, his penchant for taking risks and sometimes pushing away those who try to help him has also made him a polarizing figure. His constant battles with other miners, his run-ins with the law, and his relentless pursuit of the gold often left him isolated. But this season, things are different. After a series of failed dives and equipment issues, Steve is facing one of the most challenging seasons of his career. His boat is barely staying afloat, and the gold that once seemed abundant is now elusive. Every time Steve dips below the surface, he's reminded that the Bering Sea is not a place. Results are all that matter. The turning point enter Emily Riedel, Steve's daughter. Unlike her father, Emily has always been more pragmatic, thoughtful, and calculated in her approach to mining. She has a sharp mind for business and a keen understanding of the mechanics of gold mining. She's also one of the few people who have shown Steve that success in this business isn't about bravado. It's about planning, teamwork, and execution. She's built her own empire, commanding a vessel that has become one of the most successful on the show. Throughout the seasons, Steve and Emily's relationship has been strained, but there's always been a quiet, mutual respect between them. While Steve has often brushed aside Emily's advice, her success is undeniable. She has navigated the Bering Sea's choppy waters with a level of expertise and precision that few can match. Emily has done what Steve could not. She's built a crew that works together, a machine that runs efficiently, and a legacy that goes beyond just gold. This season, the cracks in Steve's confidence are starting to show. His boat is struggling, and the crew he once commanded with an iron fist is now losing faith. The lack of gold and mounting debts have left Steve with no choice but to swallow his pride and seek help from someone he never thought he would need to turn to: Emily. The moment of humility scene unfolds on the deck of Emily's boat. The tension is palpable, the chill of the sea in the air, and the weight of Steve's decision hanging over him. Emily is at the helm, surveying the horizon, when she spots a familiar figure coming toward her. Steve approaches with a determined look, but there's a subtle shift in his demeanor. Gone is the confident swagger that once defined him. In its place is a humility that no one could have predicted. Emily, Steve begins, his voice softer than usual. I need your help. Emily, ever the pragmatist, looks up at him. She's not surprised, but there's a flicker of something in her eyes, a mixture of concern and understanding. The two of them have had their differences, but Emily knows the Bering Sea is a place that doesn't forgive mistakes. She's learned that the hard way. What's going on, Dad? Emily asks, her tone more concerned than accusatory. Steve hesitates, clearly struggling with the words. I've been diving, but the gold's not there. The boat's falling apart, and the crew's getting frustrated. I can't keep doing it alone. I need someone who knows how to run a team. Someone who knows how to get the job done. There's a long pause. The silence is heavy, but it's not filled with animosity. Instead, it's filled with an unspoken understanding. Emily knows exactly what it means for Steve to ask for help. It's not just about gold, it's about survival. And more than that, it's about trust. Why me? Emily asks, her voice quiet but firm. Steve looks her in the eye. Because you're the best at what you do, and I'm not too proud to admit it. If anyone can turn this boat around, it's you. It's an incredibly raw moment, one that reveals the vulnerability beneath Steve's tough exterior. For the first time in a long while, he's acknowledging that he's not invincible, that the Bering Sea is bigger than him, and that the support of family might be the only thing that can help him through. A new beginning. Emily doesn't immediately give him an answer. She takes a deep breath, considering her options. She's always been independent, and she's built her own success from the ground up. But Steve is her father, and despite everything, she still feels the pull of family. After a few moments of silence, Emily speaks up. You know, Dad, I didn't get here on my own. And if you're serious about turning things around, we're going to have to do this as a team. Steve nods, a flicker of hope crossing his face. It's not a guarantee, but it's a step toward something new. A partnership that could lead to success or failure, but at least it's a chance. I'm in, Emily says, breaking the tension. But it's not going to be easy. We're going to have to work together. No egos, no stubbornness. Are you ready for that? Steve hesitates for a moment, then nods again. I'm ready. As Emily turns to give the orders, Steve takes his place on the crew, no longer the captain of his own ship, but a man willing to follow. In this new chapter of Bering Sea Gold, Steve Riedel's greatest treasure might not be the gold at the bottom of the ocean, but the renewed relationship with his daughter, built on trust, humility, and the shared hope that, together, they can conquer the unforgiving sea. In the world of gold mining, nothing is certain. But this season, one thing is clear. Family, it seems, is the greatest treasure of all.